to me, it was about 10 years in coming that, it was something that I did. I made a decision to do, but it was not popular at the time. Nobody was talking about it, and so I just would like to say thank you to Elder G. Craige Lewis for saying the truth, not being afraid, and just encourage young people that, it's very important that your relationship with God is number one, because everything else will fall into place when it's number one. And that way you don't get hurt. You save yourself from a lot of situations that you just don't have to be involved in. And God will put you on a plan for your life, a path for your life, and He'll make it all fall into place for you.
So Steve, tonight Elder Lewis talked a lot about the responsibilities that come with teen dating.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a heavy responsibility to be on a teenager. But just from your perspective, tell me some of the things why you think that's such a heavy responsibility.
Well, first of all, teenagers freshly coming out of that age, very irresponsible, and they're not being driven. I mean, they're being driven by the wrong things, basically, their emotions or their feelings and stuff like that. And it's just the responsibilities that come with dating is just too much. It's too much pressure for people to put on teenagers like that, especially emotionally and physically and mentally and all that kind of stuff. It's really hard for a teenager to handle all that kind of pressure and responsibility at such a young age.
One thing that Elder Lewis brought out tonight that I think a lot of people don't realize with teen dating, rather than just saying don't do it, there's a lot of consequences. And I know the consequences kind of stood out for you, so just talk a little bit about that.
Okay, definitely. What was really impactful to me was seeing that there's more to it than just having fun or just a few moments of pleasure. And especially since I choose not to date, there's times where being honest and being transparent, that being completely real, there's times where it's easy to be passionate for God, and there's times where the world will come at you and the enemy makes you want those things, and you have desires and you think, God, what is going on? Why do I want this? And you fight that, and to have someone come and say, no, keep doing the right thing, keep pursuing God, keep living pure, because they are having consequences, the people who are doing it, and talking about the stealing of their innocence and the troubles they're going to have in their marriage, and even the mental problems that they deal with now is really impactful. And even what was great to me after the service, when he had the altar call and just massive amounts of our youth went up there, and then he called the leaders to come and pray for them, and seeing other youth leaders look at me and to go pray for them, it was really powerful, because I was able to say, you know what, I can go and pray for these girls because I have lived pure, because I did choose to serve God. And that was an honor in itself, to be able to hug them and say it's going to be okay. And I mean, even if all the pain and the excitement and everything was for that was the greatest joy to me, to be able to pray with them for purity and living completely sold out for God.
Okay. Cherie, the question I have for you, after you've heard everything that went forth tonight, there are others that you're going to have to encourage. Tell me something that you'll be able to take away and share with them to encourage them in their teen dating process.
Sure. I just think that no matter what, if you're raised in a Christian home or if you're not, because like for me growing up, I wasn't necessarily raised in a Christian home, so I wasn't told like, oh, you don't do this, you don't do that, But as an adult, I've made that choice to not date, and I have not dated for 10 years. I'm not sexually active at all or anything like that, but I just wanted to encourage you that no matter what age you are, you can make the choice to live a pure life for God. And one thing that stood out to me was the scripture that Elder Lewis shared about you can serve God without, single people can serve God without distraction. And I'm involved in many things, and I don't have that where my heart's being tugged one way or tugged another way. I can live for God completely and just serve
Just
Him.
for yourself, he talked a little bit about the prom. And a lot of people don't think about that, but just from your perspective, tell me about that.
My perspective is the prom is just like the world's marriage. You spend money, so much money, you get dressed up, you buy a car, you go out, you spend the night at a hotel room to do, whatever, they do at the hotel. Basically, it's just, it's a wedding for the world. To lose, women, they lose their virginity, male lose their virginity, they wait all that time for that. I feel like they can take that $1,000, $2,000 or how much ever they spend and put it in a college fund, not waste their money and their time for one night.
And Brother Rodney, tell me something that stood out for you tonight.
The whole message. I'm just glad that people are getting EX Ministries information, because a lot of people, most of their problems is just based on sin and not being saved and not being spirit-led. So as far as I'm concerned, everything was the high point of the message. Just the whole thing was great.
Eric, for yourself, Elder Lewis talked tonight about how teen dating, the effects of it can further affect you in marriage, and I know you one day hope to be a father, a husband, all of that. Tell me about some of those effects that he mentioned tonight that stood out for you.
Well, when he was talking about how it corrupts your relationship with God, how it brings distractions to you, and your relationship with God is your foundation for when you get married and when you want to be a father, and you have to have the qualities of being a good husband. And I often find myself thinking about my future and thinking about who I'm going to marry in my marriage, and I chose not to date because I don't want that coming in between me and my future wife. I don't want my past problems coming in between us.
Kristen, I know you've made the decision not to date. And I'm sure you have friends that have probably pressured you, but you're thinking long term, you're thinking of your future. And I know after a lot of the things you heard tonight, does that further confirm your decisions?
Yeah, it really does. And like with my friends at school, I can just tell them about the future and how it's going to affect their future and how they want to have, like with the females that talk to me, because I mean guys do talk to me and stuff like that, but the females, I can all tell them about how they want to have a gift to give to their husband. And just if they give it away now, they're not going to have anything to give them. And I mean, many of them already have. And so I want to just try to help the ones that haven't. And so that's just a big issue.
Something that really stood out for me was the way that he exposed it and just the practical manner that he did it. Mm-hmm. It really helped parents see that it's not beneficial to their teen for them to date, that it can't just be a normal thing. It can't just be, let's just go along with what society says is okay, and that it's really going to affect their future.
I've always been taught that if the devil can get in and distract you, then he can destroy your life. So everything that Craige Lewis was saying, I totally agree with, because he said that if the devil can come in and distract you, then he can ruin your future and your plans. And so, of course, dating is a distraction from you and your relationship with God. So I've made the decision not to do that.
Okay. One thing about EX Ministries and Elder G. Craige Lewis is he has a real unique presentation. So from your perspective, Joe, tell me what you thought about the presentation tonight.
Oh man, it was such a strong message, just the way he presented it. He gave lots of facts and statistics that supported everything he said, and it's just so eye-opening about how far this generation has gone, and far as how far they've taken dating, and how non-committed people are, and it's just basically a physical thing, and it's kind of scary actually. So.
Elder Lewis made some comments tonight about how sometimes young men tend to be quite a bit behind young ladies mentality-wise. Can you agree with that? Did you understand that?
Yes, I did. I understand that guys are sometimes stupid when it comes to a relationship. They focus on the physical, and while the girl, and they sometimes totally forget the emotional aspect of it. And then other times they just plainly don't know what they're doing, and so they make mistakes, and they cause tragedies that aren't meant to be. So.
Now, have you made the decision not to date?
Yes, I have. I grew up with a very strong father who made that stand.
Okay. Well, thank you. Dave. And Dave serves as a part of one of the musicians here at Family Harvest Church. And tonight when Elder Lewis was speaking about the dating, one point he brought out was that the dating can be a distraction. And I know with you being a musician and working on your music ministry and other things that you're working on, can you agree that dating could be a distraction?
Yeah, totally. Like when it comes to worshiping and stuff, it's just like all about God, and I think that dating can really just put a damper on all that. All the time that you spend intimately with another person is time that you could be spending with God. And I think that is really important, main reason that I don't get involved with stuff like that. So.
In the service tonight, Elder Lewis talked about pressures. There's a lot of pressures when it comes to teen dating. So Nia, I want to ask you, when you were in that position, did you feel pressured?
Definitely. In high school, everyone was dating, everyone was kind of coupling up, hooking up, and when you're the only Christian around, it's kind of like you're the weirdo. So you kind of have to draw strength from your relationship with God and realize that He has a plan for my life. That's what I would say to myself. God has a plan for my life, and I have to do the right thing. And then you can then, in turn, apply pressure on those who are around you, and then they want to be like you because they know you're going somewhere. God has great things for you, and that's what I would say to my